Hey, Buddy Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report. Josue is already in the great mood for this show.
Yes, sir. Celtics got it done, guys. Celtics got it done.
That means we don't have to go back to Cleveland. Series is over, and the Celtics are on, fresh, and ready for the Eastern Conference Finals. Another one. What are we talking now? 17, 18, 20, 22, 23, and 24.
Six of the last 8.
No pressure, Celtics. Yeah. No pressure.
So the Celtics beat the Cavs. 5-game series. We'll look back a little bit here. Tonight, obviously, the story, Horford getting going in a big way. This is a rough series for him, coming in 34% from the field, 18% from 3. So he turns it around tonight. This was Tatum's most efficient game of the series at 9 for 16, along with 9 assists. I thought he was fantastic. I got some good Drew moments in this game, as well as decent bench performance as well. I thought Kornet did what he could in the first half of this one. So it all amounts to another defensive win. It's been a defensive series in many ways for the Celtics, where they've had inconsistent offensive results, and they grinded out the series. A great winning game 4 down the stretch defensively, and then in this one, albeit with no Mitchell over the last 2, no LeVert tonight, and no Allen for the whole series. Take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but I still feel like the Cavs put up a fight, and the Celtics squashed it.
Well, that's the thing. They had to grind it out. And regardless who was out there for Cleveland, I mean, that's just their approach no matter what. And we saw that in a big way. Guys like Marcus Morris stepping up, man, which I thought was
25 tonight, right?
Terrific, man. I couldn't have predicted that. I expected him to go somewhere around 20 when you found out how many guys were going to be out, but I didn't know he would be that efficient. That was incredible. And they challenged these guys, obviously making those 3-point shots, making the Celtics play defense. I felt like by the end of the third quarter, Celtics look up at the scoreboard like, man, these guys are still close. And it's like, yeah, you have to really fight for this one. You have to really fight to close out a series. And they found that out in a big way with the way they came out in that fourth quarter. I want to say a good 3-4 minutes of just like every possession matters. Every possession could prolong this series if you don't approach it the right way. I mean, that was the Celtics' mindset, it seemed like, and that's the kind of approach you're supposed to have when you're the Boston Celtics. Let's face it, guys. This was a favorable matchup for the Celtics by a mile going into this game. So it would have been a humongous disappointment if this thing went to overtime or if they lost. Like, it's just they've learned from their mistakes. Al Horford talking about that. Obviously, what the kind of game that he put up. Made it easier for guys to sort of say, hey, let's go out there and win this one for Al, for each other, and show everyone that we don't want to go back to Cleveland. That's exactly what they did.
Yeah, game through 1 through 2, and then third quarter, Celtics started to separate a little bit, and then they exploded into the fourth. This is a pretty close series when you look at the total points. I think it was like 17 points going into tonight, and then they score this decent win that ended off in terms of margin here. So the Cavs played them tight. Wasn't the best competition again because of the injuries. But what's your biggest takeaway from this one, this series?
Yeah. I think the thing with the injuries is that the Celtics can only control what they can control, and that's their performance, right? From a fan standpoint, from a media standpoint, from a league standpoint, it would have been awesome to have a fully healthy Cavs team. But we've all been around the NBA long enough to know that when star players go down, it makes other guys step up. Yeah. And this Cavaliers team, they didn't fold. They actually responded really well, like you said. I mean, 10 of 13 shooting from Marcus Morris. Donovan Mitchell wasn't going to put up that kind of efficient shooting performance tonight, most likely, right?
So we had 33.
Yeah, so it doesn't. To me, it doesn't really matter that those stars were out because the role guys stepped up.
It matters a little bit.
It doesn't matter to me tonight, honestly, because I think the performance of the Cavaliers put together was a really strong team performance, and you have a bunch of really good NBA players that maybe don't get the opportunity that tonight they did, and so it's not going to have the same ratings or shockwaves around the league as if you overcome like a really stacked roster. But I thought that they were playing well. And like you said, like going into the fourth quarter, I was like, how is this still a game? I felt like they had already blown it open a couple of times. And then to go in the fourth and execute, I mean, we saw so many good things today from Al Horford's big night. Jason Tatum, like you mentioned, I thought he just had an awesome all-around game. Almost had a triple-double. I didn't even realize that until the very end. And really good defense. So I thought, you saw a lot of good things, and you also saw people willing to take a step back. Like Jalen Brown, who's had a really awesome series. Yep. He took a step back tonight because it just wasn't needed for him to take, I think he took 9 shots on the game. So a lot to be encouraged about, I think, from a Celtics standpoint.
And some good commentary from them after the game. I thought Brown and Tatum handled the series pretty well, seeing a lot of defensive pressure from the Cavs, difficult crowds at the rim, extra pressure on the ball, and some bad shooting nights for Tatum in particular. But he talked a little bit here about giving the game what it needs for both he and Brown.
Jalen got you back with the chest slap. Did you feel that? And then how far have you two come as far as playing together, but also being able to give the game what it needs when it does?
Yeah. We've just been in a lot of battles together. 7 years as teammates. He's been in the conference finals 6 times. This is my 5th time. We've been in a lot of crucial moments, regular season and playoff games, and just throughout the years, learning from our experiences, really getting to a stage where we understand what we can do individually. We know how gifted we are, offensively, but each night just kind of presents different challenges, and being ready and up for the task to do whatever is needed, because both of us are capable on the basketball court to do literally everything. And each night just may call for something different.
So that's my biggest takeaway in this series, the way those two handled it. First 2 series as a whole, I think they both, despite some inconsistent results for them individually, more so Tatum, and we've done 100 videos on Tatum's performance. I think he comes out on top here and handled it well. And it's going to be a challenge next round too. You got the Pacers still potentially lining up here, down 2-3 though, going into tomorrow night's game. And then you have the Knicks, who are about as rugged, physical, and defensive of a team as you'll see after seeing that Miami team that plays that style and that Cavs team here that plays that style. Certainly injuries there too, which is going to, I think, diminish a little bit how big of a threat they are. That's a real series to me if they're fully healthy, and maybe they can still make it a real series because of how resilient they've been. They're obviously the favorite to advance given their spot in this series, but the Pacers do some tricky things too. The pace, Halliburton, some size inside with Turner. They've played the Celtics well throughout this year too. Who do you want to see for whatever reason?
I would love to see the Knicks. I think just from an energy standpoint, Boston, New York conference finals, we've been needing it for a while now. I also think that the effort that the Knicks have put together in this postseason has been really inspiring and is probably the series that you want if you're going to the finals.
Yeah.
And I know this is kind of a weird way to look at it, and maybe it's a privileged way to look at it, because from the beginning, we've been talking about what's the best pathway for the Celtics to win the championship, not to win this round and get to the next round. To me, you play the Knicks, you play Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, you're seeing the best competitors in the world right now. And that's going to prepare you to whoever comes out of the West, looking like maybe Denver, maybe the Wolves, probably Denver. But, I think that that's what you want as far as just raising that intensity, because we're just not seeing right now, between Miami being depleted and Cleveland being depleted, those aren't the series that are going to prepare you best for the West, whoever comes out of the West. So I like the Knicks just from that standpoint. I think Indiana just hasn't stepped up this postseason to take advantage of the opportunities presented. And I don't think they'd pose a real threat to Boston.
Yeah,
Do you think they need a test?
I agree. I think they're the inferior opponent out of the two, to be honest, the Indiana Pacers. So I would love to see the Celtics, I guess for maybe selfish reasons, because the competition, the Celtics, Knicks in the playoffs, Madison Square Garden, humongous fan bases, great crowds. So yeah, I think that's a more entertaining and fun series if we get that one.
But do you think they need a test?
I think they do. Yeah, Bobby. I mean, you don't think so?
I don't know if it's a test or if it's like you don't want to go from playing the Cavs with Marcus Morris, leading the way, to now you're playing Jokic. Like, Jalen Brunson is going to pose an enormous threat. Like the way that he is playing right now, he's playing like one of the best players in the world. So, game planning for someone like him, having to have the attention to detail, the focus to stopping him from having a 44-point night like he's had countless times, it feels like this postseason.
And OG Anunoby if he comes back.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of like this is where like ramping up towards winning a championship here, right?
Yeah.
And I think there needs to be an intermediary step between the Heat and the Cavs, and now the Pacers that have kind of, not played amazingly this postseason, to now you're playing the Nuggets that just came back from being down 0-2 versus the Timberwolves and have all the confidence in the world.
Right. No question.
Assuming that's what happens.
No, I'm with you. No, again, like the atmosphere, the weapons that the problems that the Knicks pose. I mean, the only thing that they're missing in a big way, maybe it's a blessing, because if you go into the series, which I would most likely say without Kristaps Porzingis, maybe a game or two, I don't know. But the fact that the Knicks don't have Julius Randle, they don't have Mitchell Robinson, but they still have other weapons, other guys that can step up. Dante, obviously, New Yorkers love him. Yeah. Brunson has been the heart and soul of that squad for sure, and they're all capable of pulling an upset. I mean, I don't think going into it, most of people are going to predict the Knicks to win this series, but I think without question it will be the Celtics' biggest challenge that they've seen throughout this postseason.
And the Pacers, they'd just be annoying.
I just don't trust those guys, Bobby. I think when it comes down to the end of the game, there were a couple of times where they could really close out a win, and they just didn't do it. The defense comes and goes. They decide when they want to play. I know they're a big
they just be annoying
juggernaut. That's another thing on the defense. Like the Pacers defense is not good
Non-existent.
pre-finals defense. Like you can't go
That's
from
not
the
good prep
Pacers.
work for the
Yeah,
big
you need
test.
to. You need to get
No,
something
I'm
a little
with you
better.
with
And I
that.
also think what you
Yeah.
said about the Knicks being really depleted. I almost think they're playing better in a way. What they put together this postseason run,
inspiring.
it's been a magical run for them.
Right.
And no Julius Randle, like he's a great player. I don't want to discredit that, but it's enabled other guys to step up.
Yeah.
And so
Hartenstein.
just back to what we were talking about earlier about the Cavs and about whether these wins are impressive or not. Like sometimes beating these shorthanded teams is almost more challenging in a way. Not to say that like this Cavs team is the Knicks team, but I think there is an
No, I know
element
what
to
you
the
mean.
Knicks being
Yeah.
I get that. Knicks at full strength could actually beat the Celtics, though, I think. And they're not anywhere close. So you shouldn't lose that series. You're going to get resistance in a series like that. The Celtics fans expect to go to the finals. And those are the two most boisterous fan bases in the league. So this would be one of the most fun.
We should do Miss New York.
Miss New York
What is it?
Knicks.
We'll talk
We'll
about
show
it.
you the video. We'll have plenty of time to preview whoever the opponent is. Knicks can win the series
That was
tomorrow
the
night.
home opener, Bobby. That's crazy. This thing's coming full circle.
And they've played some great games throughout this year. Knicks won the last one by like 30. So no one might be right. A shorthanded Knicks team might actually pose more of a threat because they built an identity without those guys.
Plus, Bobby, you have to remember how things are looking on their side. They look at the Celtics being like, oh, they don't have Kristaps, huh? Oh,
That's
the
true.
guy
That's a factor.
who's been giving us all kinds of trouble and throughout those matchups in the regular season. So, yeah, you're going to get an inspired New York Knicks team that's already has the confidence, going through the roof with how this whole postseason is played out.
Well, we got plenty of practices coming up, plenty of time off now. The Celtics get a great layoff again here, potentially Tuesday if that series goes 7. Could start on Sunday, though, if the Knicks take care of business. We are brought to you by our great sponsors, Prize Picks. I won again tonight.
Today was the perfect night.
Went
to
more
go
on
Prize
Mobley,
Picks.
went more on Horford. I wasn't
Morris
feeling
even
great
on the
about
screen
it.
today. I don't know. They should have put Morris on there. I would have said more.
I was nervous about going Horford.
They would have had
on Prize Picks. Was Morris going to be on?
No, I don't
Are
think
you-
so.
I don't know.
But
But they were short. They were short-handed. Damn, no guys. You
I
guys are
looked
mean
through
to
it. I
Marcus
looked through
Morris.
it. I didn't see him, but I did see Horford
They
8.5.
probably had like 8 or something.
He shattered it. He goes more, and it's that simple. 2 players pick more or less on their stat projections, and you're off to the races with our official daily fantasy sports partner, Prize Picks. Go get a 100% deposit match up to $100 over there when you use our code CLNS. That's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Great week to hit the court. It's feeling like It's feeling like summer out there. The court's hot right now too, but you want to get outside a little bit. There's some time off between these games. I might get out there this weekend. Who knows? And I'll be wearing my PXG gear if I do. Even if I don't, it's great for the weather. It's light. It helps you get in your swing, and it just makes you feel good. You look good, you feel good, you play good, and that's what PXG allows you to do. Great hats, polos, tees. You get a discount on your first order when you head over there, pxg.com/GardenReport. Use that code GardenReport for a discount over there. And game time. Maybe you're in New York, you want to see that game 7 on Sunday, or you want to see game 1 here. We'll see which one actually happens. But on the Game Time app, they're giving you a $20 discount on your first purchase. Head over there, download the app, check it out. Great deals up to and even after Game Time. The Patriots schedule came out today as well. They already have Patriots tickets out on Game Time. But again, the best way to do it, wait up until a little closer to Game Time on that app. And again, terms apply. First time you use the app, you're going to get $20 off your first purchase over there. So go check out the Game Time app. Celtics beat the Cavs 4-1. Good series win. I feel like there were some frustrating moments in there mixed in, but they handled it well in the end. And this is a good win tonight.
Did you have them in 5?
Team. I did. We all did.
We all did.
All of us did. So
Glad you asked that, Noah.
check it off.
Of course she
Along
had
I knew
it.
our
She had it
answer.
at 5, of course. Yeah.
Come
the
on.
whole panel did. So credit to the Garden Report.
Swept it.
She's Noah Dalzell. Check out her work at Celtics blog. Check out her predictions too, because she's so good at them. And Josue Pavon, pretty good too. Check him out over on the Garden Report and Cedric Maxwell podcast. I'm Bobby Manning. This has been a late night edition of the Garden Report. Let's get out of here. Good night.